Thanks for staying with us. We're still talking about the man in Anambra State who was flogged by vigilante, called by his brothers, and ended up dying afterwards. And you can join the conversation and call us on 081-076-41679 or 0902-416-3440. Now, Abigail raised something that was important to me, which was respect. And I know that, you know, the way we use the respect all the time, sometimes we really do not practice it when the chips are down, when we are angry, and then we allow our emotions take over us. Because I'm wondering how you want to correct an elder with punitive measures. The fact that the person has crossed a certain bar means that there's some sort of punishment is not even your right to give to that person. Whether you are a wife, whether you're a brother, you are a sister, they have gotten to that level where you accord them, even in chastising them, even in telling them that they are wrong. There's a way you say it. You don't talk to them like you're talking to your child, no matter what. Now, how do we keep instilling this respect? Because I've seen that across every spheres, we're beginning to lose it. Oh, I'm more educated than this person. Oh, I have more money than this person. Oh, I have this than that person. I can talk to you anyhow I like, irrespective of the fact that you're older than me. How do we go back to the days of our culture when it comes to respect? And I know that all of us want to evolve, but we can hold on to some cultural things that are still good and still serving us.
I thought Abigail would like to go.
Jump into this one.
Okay, talking about respect, you know what they say, that respect is reciprocal. So even among siblings, I've had a sibling that warned me. I am older by 5 years, by the way. So she got me angry one of those days and I slapped her. And then she looks at me like this, don't try that next time. So, you know, there are legacies in the family, and there are family systems where how you actually groom your kids matter a lot. So it matters how you make this one respect the other one, know that this person is your elder, under no circumstances must you disrespect this person. So I think it has to do with how you groom these children growing up. As I said earlier, systems in some of these cultures have given too much power to just one person, maybe because of birthright. And maybe because, okay, you're occupying a certain vintage position in the family, your mommy's favorite, your daddy's favorite, and everybody sees it. You went to school. And so people have lost it as to what to do at a certain time. Because things like this, as a family, if you see someone mistreating your family member, you won't be happy in the first place. You won't. You will even want to fight. So how come you're the one actually doing the same thing to your family members? So I actually feel that respect is how you groom it, how you grow it in the family system.
Let's take this call. Samuel from Jos. Good morning, Samuel.
God bless you, my good sisters.
God bless you too.
This is my take on this topic. There is no action without, there's no reaction without action. But that is not to say that whatever must have led to the death of this young man is justifiable. Because you're taking a life, you cannot justify whatever the man has done. Be it what, be it whatever. I know Igbo nation to be a highly cultured tribe. There are issues you take to the elders of the family, or even to the elders of the village. They will settle it. Like in my own village where I come from, you don't invite your police to your brother to the police station. You can't do it in my own village. Because we have elders that will settle whatever rivalry or whatever case you have with your brother. Let alone calling vigilante to take your brother's life. I mean, let the law take its course, my brother, my sisters. Irrespective of what the man has committed, he cannot equate that offense with his life. Take it to the elders of the village, take it to the elders of the family, take it to the even wider society. So you don't take life unjustly. And the no life is worth taking, no matter what it has taken the cost. Because God, I'm speaking as a Christian, you don't take life even because God says, the Bible says vengeance belongs to him. Allow God to take vengeance on your behalf. So they should be prosecuted, no matter who's us, God.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to say that concerning the issue, property is a very controversial issue in Nigeria, especially. I remember when my granddad passed on, he just had a house and then had like about 6 to 7 rooms. Of course, he was a polygamous man, and there were about 18 children, including my dad. While he was still alive, my dad was the one that was renovating the house, keeping the house, and all. But after he died, after 40 days, they shared that property
Immediately.
to 17 children. So you find out that one room, there are like 4 people inside a room. And they may come from different mothers, but it must be shared to avoid things like this. So they shared it. Now, everybody, the house is there. The idea is they didn't want to sell it before, but they didn't want to share. But you enter your room and go and stay.
What happens if one sibling, they'll shared? Let's say that I've given you your cup, you have given my cup, and I look at my cup and think, I now need something to feed. I take your cup
And sell.
it.
They have shared, though.
Yes, now.
What
But
happens?
now, because it's the way they shared it, you can't even sell it. Because it's room. You want to come and sell your own. The only thing you can do is to rent it out. And that's what some did.
Yeah, but if it was
rented
a
it
house
out.
and one sibling decides, so that's what we
Maybe
want.
once he gets a hold of the papers.
Yes,
why
now.
Of the house.
That's
It's
why
already
some
shared.
family,
It's already shared. It's already
some
shared.
family do
can't
this
do
the legal
anything
way,
again.
so you can't get just one signature. Every other person should
Family
be there.
sign.
So the people that are saying, I can't take my family to the police, I can't take my family meet
never do
elders.
you.
What if the elders are biased themselves? He's a 60-year-old, and what if he's closer to the elders?
Which happens.
And they judge in favor of him.
him.
And maybe they've been doing this case. As we said, we don't know the details that led to this. But what if it's that kind of situation? There are certain things that you can't just do yourself, whether you like it or not. The law is there to guide you. It's there to guide you. So this sentiment of, I can't take my family issue, family will go do you like this, one day you'll be
I
asking
wanted to add
yourself.
to that issue of respect, that when you're raising your kids, you also raise them with empathy and balance of judgment.
Yeah.
Where one knows that if I cheat this one, you just know. I saw a
feel
video
good
recently
about
of
it.
a brother whose brother was domiciled abroad and had married an American woman. They are Ghanaians and they are Muslims. And the brother was sending money home for his brother to help him build. He built the house Sote, it be like palace.
Yes, I saw that video.
And when the wife came, when she was showing the kids the room, she was saying,
so happy.
she was so happy.
contain the joy.
In a long time, I've not seen such a story. So it felt so good to see that, you can still rely on your sibling. Not this story of, I send money, my sibling don't sell everything. My sibling was balling while I was working in
always
America.
there.
Not all those stories, all the time. If you raise your kids, apart from respect, you raise them with that empathy of my sibling. So that, for instance, if these ones had even done the mistake which they did of reporting to the vigilante, they will not see their brother being dehumanized and find it normal now. Okay, let's even add everything that he took.
Yeah.
Is it worth him being dehumanized? Talk less of him being killed. So that's the empathy, that the point of, is another human. Is even my own blood. Is even my own sibling. After my parents, after me in this world, this is the next closest thing to me. Or
I like
person
the
to
angle
me.
you are taking it to, but let's take this call. Chibuzo. Good morning, Chibuzo.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir.
This what you are saying is true. Even it happened to my family now, as I'm talking to you. My father married 2 wives, and I'm the first son. Even the property, when my father died, he shared property to each family, to each parent. Say, you to your brother, you to your sisters, because of wahala where it cost later. Then it was unfortunate my younger brother wanted to sell the property, which I know. I say, we cannot sell any property because my mother was alive. We have to leave the property, both the farm for my mother, so that the family needs. If we cannot farm, let's put it for rent. Then yesterday, I had a call from my sister at direct that my younger brother sold a land, 2 million. With that consulting me, I say, how long? He said this is almost a year. He sold the land. He did not inform me. Even my mother did not inform me. Nobody informed me. I say, are you sure, my sister? I say, yes. I called my mother yesterday. I was discussing with my mother some issue without letting her know that someone tell me. I just asked her, mother, I hope no problem concerning the land and everything. You are not making equal with anybody. Say no. Then I had to find something for her mother. Say, mother, I saw one of our town brothers told me that you are having a misunderstanding with for land. He said no. I told my mother, I don't want something to happen. No, it's okay. If I'm telling you one thing now, my mother now even tell me, say, my younger brother sold land. Okay, what will I do? I should kill him? I reason and say, somebody where they drag father property, they make him alive. For my own side, now I reason. I'm not fighting. I told my mother that I'm coming to village. I come from Delta State or Weibo. I say, I will come. If I come, I look the matter how it be. Because you get some things, some property from father when you go quarrel with your younger brother. If you not take, I can use spiritual way to harm you. But you can look to it and say, you don't want all these things. Then you leave this to him. God will fight everything. That is what I know from my own mind. Thank you, people. God bless you so much.
Thank you, Chibuzo.
Thank you very much.
So this even shows that it's happening a lot in different.
It's very, very common.
Yes, it's very rife. But let's zero down to parental responsibility. You've highlighted it by saying that they must make sure that the children are trained and groomed with empathy and love and the ability to protect one another. Now, when it comes to properties, and you're discussing with a typical Nigerian parent on how to probably write a will or share the property while they are alive so that at least everybody knows what comes to you when I go, it seems like you are hurriedly letting them go. Like you want to kill them. And some people don't want to have that conversation. Now, how do we get them to understand that this conversation is saving your own children? Because the truth is, they may behave well while you're there, and when you are gone, the animosity that they have buried will come out, and then things just go anyhow. How do we normalize having the conversation of maybe setting up a trust, a will, or sharing the property while you're still alive, if you intend to give them the property? Some people want to sell it and give to motherless babies home. But anyway, that's what happens in the in our foreign land, more like that. But here, we like to share our property within our children. How do we begin to share it before we go, in case you do not trust that those kids can handle themselves?
Okay, so if you see, now you go use your mouth, your tongue, they count it too. If you see, you must as a parent know your children.
Yeah.
You know the one that is flashy, the one that can wait, the one that is prodigal, the one that, you know them. If, fortunately for you, you have established them, like our parents used to say, once you graduate, I have finished with
settled you.
I've settled you. So you go into the world and make your own and get your own, and you have seen them. You can relax and say, whatever you've left, maybe 1 house. Because my people say, uku. That's what we call properties. In plural is uku. Really? And in singular is iku. Meaning is even material, waste. Whatever you leave behind is supposed to be managed. And sort of gathered well. It's not something people who should be fighting over and scattering themselves. Some people fight over property and they even be killing themselves to remain at all as if themselves no go die. True. So there are not things that you fight over. You establish your children and hope that they know better. But if you see the way they are, you see the way they are
going. Be truthful to yourself.
Be honest.
Because we see, but we don't like to.
We don't agree. You might love one more than one. You see that one that's going to sell property would have been selling since.
Yes.
From small.
Your like to work. Selling, yes.
When they share work, you go say, no, I too suffer. I don't too suffer. I don't too go come. You will see the one that is so hard working. My grandpa did something amazing. When he died, there was a portion of land right in front of the family house. He said, nobody should touch it. He said my dad used to farm there because my grandma was an orphan. And if she born, she know they see relative compressor total. My father grew up and started taking care of his mom, all his younger siblings, early. So he started farming there before he left for school, so that his mother will never have to trek to farm when she's nursing a baby to eat. So she would just be able to harvest from close to home. And he had livestock as well. And all of those things were mentioned and demarcated and left
while he was alive.
When my grandfather was passing, they were saying, this one is my dad's son. Everybody knew it. He said it based on what he had observed of the way he lived. So he did not let him say, he will come and say, I farmed here. No, this boy farmed it. He did it for his mom, leave it for him. So you as a parent, as you're growing, you're seeing your kids, you have to be very objective. You cannot be at that time, because when you
playing hanky-panky.
The people, these relatives, these elders.
Yes.
These elders, God help us that we have good elders. No. You see these elders that we are talking in families. And then they share
directed to any
children.
tribe.
So yeah, that your sibling. Don't come call me. He say make we do this one. Whereas the elders should know that you should be unbiased and help them arrange.
Let's
They
take
will be
this
making call and dividing your children. So
We have Mrs. Kenneth on the line. Good morning, Mrs. Kenneth.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm doing amazing.
Hello, how are you?
We're doing amazing. You're live, ma'am.
Okay. What I'm saying, in respect of this issue of the siblings having problems, I was born and raised in the north, precisely Kano. So in the house I grew up, the man has 2 wives. And these 2 wives, they have almost 6 children. By then, I don't know what it's called. I have not been to Lagos. So when they lost their father, I think before they even lost their father, when their father was sick, taken to the other one is an Air Force here residing in Lagos. Taking to their father to a hospital was a problem. This one is waiting for this, the mother and these children are waiting for the other children, for the other woman to take their father to hospital. In that process, they lost their father. But the house was shared amicable. Although I'm an Igbo woman, but I was raised by an Hausa man, an Hausa Muslim, but I'm a Christian. They remain a Christian. But they shared the house that even the girls, in Islam, the woman have only one share, while the woman have 2. So like 2 girls to 1 room, and while the other boy has a single room. But there was not all this problem. Although when they want to start problem, they now sold one house. They shared the house amicable. The other one took her own money to Saudi. But in Igbo land, my own father now, when they lost their grandfather, when he lost his father, his own portion, he left it to his siblings. But even at that, again, they are not satisfied. I don't know if you know the two, they are not still satisfied. So this issue is what parents should rectify before they even pass away. That's for my own view.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I actually still want to point out something on a lighter note. It's not everybody that has property to pass on to the next generation. That's why you can see people selling water tanks, because I'm sure if there was a land given to him, he will have something tangible to work, except maybe he has sold it before the water tank. But this issue of will, you raised the issue of will. People actually are very scared of writing their wills, but I think we've gone past that stage where you think it's because you're writing a will you will die. And as a matter of fact, a lot of persons these days, is it Bill Gates, or I can't remember the person who said he cannot pass his will to his kids.
Yeah.
A lot of big men do it now. So the point I want to draw out of this is unnecessary over-dependence on inheritance. Most families should take note. Don't make your kids feel that, okay, my father has this, my father has that, I will not work for mine. Make your children
be independent.
Make them entrepreneurs from the day one. You know, some people say, okay, you want to clean the room, I'm paying you 5 naira. If you're washing the dishes, I'm giving you 20 naira. You're making your child independent at an early age. And when it comes for times like this, when you have to now say, okay, oh, my father's right, that's old model, I don't want it anymore. So most families should actually learn to draw up these wills, but in as much as you are drawing up the wills, make your children feel that, come, if this will not date tomorrow, what if government demolition, or what if something happens? How will you survive? How will you survive? So I actually think all these things, it boils down to the family. It boils down to the family to know how to manage your family and the talents in your family.
What you said now just reminded me of something. So I grew up in a place where everybody was dragging property. Even the married women were leaving their husband's house to come and drag property. And the men did not work for anything in their own life. They were dragging property. And I was appalled. It infuriated me. When they're having those property conversations, you'll be hearing my father's house, my father's land, my father's this, my father's that. I will be doing like this. Like, I was... Probably it's one of the things that made me who I am today, that I've determined to work as hard as I work today. Because I don't want to be saying, dragging my father's house, my father's car. You people sold the father's bicycle. You people did this one to the father's property. And I'm fighting and hating my siblings because I didn't want that. So at that time, I always felt that, these people are actually failures. if they were successful, I don't think they'll be having this conversation.
Yeah.
And I've been proven right over the years. Because I've seen that successful children don't even reason their father's property.
Yeah.
Because they are out there making way for themselves. Whether they have enough or they don't have enough, you see the person's trajectory of work. Whether it's a medium scale or large scale, they are just doing their thing. They are not focused on, am I going to be some people drag. In fact, I had a stepmother at some point who the sons that's her own brothers, my stepmother's brothers. The brothers were fighting their mother over a property their father left for her. It was bad, yes. And the judge kids reached my house. It was really, really bad, yes. Mommy needs to leave this place. So this mommy actually had, God bless her soul, she's late now. Even my stepmother now I'm talking about is late. The mother actually had diabetes. That they were managing for years. So she needed to take insulin. How many times a week? And that insulin was costly. So it was the rental from the house that her husband built that she was using to maintain. And these boys would do anything to drive her out of that house. When I saw all of this, I thought, no, Beecee.
This actually
you can't be caught. You can't be caught in the midst of this. So I agree with you. I agree with you that you must raise your children to do their own. I tell my son today, when he wants to do bragado in the house with other people, I say, brother, you're on rent. I will kick you out very soon. You're on rent, oh. It's not your house, it's my house. I will kick you out very soon. Go and do your own. Let me come and say, hey, this is my son's house. You know, this is my daughter's house.
It's also good to have a proper estate manager. Where you see the case Mora is always sharing of her, the former area of Lagos.
Let me pause you so I can take it hear you properly. We have Olufemi from Magodo. Good morning, Olufemi.
Good morning, lady.
Good morning.
Thank you for this
I'll come to
topic.
you.
So first of all, the interest of every parent is to leave something for their children so that they do not repeat the cycle of struggling, right? Now, I also realize that a lot of people were talking about these issues happening in polygamous families. It also happens in monogamous families. I'll give you an example. My late father requested my mother to sell her land to myself, either myself or one of my brothers. My mother initially wanted to sell the land to an outsider. My father said, no, sell it to either of your sons. I initiated the idea to say, okay, I will buy it and give you the money to take care of yourself. But God gave me wisdom, and I asked my mother. I come from a monogamous family. I asked my mother, ask my brother whether he's interested in this transaction. My mother went, oh, no, she's not interested. Don't worry, buy it. Out of God's wisdom, I then called my father. I called my father and my mother, and I said, I'm going to pay for the land because you need the money. And father is saying that you should not sell it to an outsider. I'll pay for it, give you the money, but we'll sign agreements and everything. My mother said, fantastic. I said, guess what? If my brother comes for this land or initiates anything legal in the future to say that, after all, the land belongs to my mother, I also want part of it, I will kill him. You know what my mother said? You want to kill your brother because of land. She called my other siblings and reported me. I then called my father. I said, can you see what is happening here? Nobody is talking about the cause. They're talking about the effect. You are not even addressing that this child of yours can become something else in future and choose to sue me for something I bought legally. My father was the only person that got the land. My conclusion was I now went back to my own mother and said, you know what? The land, give it to him. I don't want. On top of that, anything you want, any inheritance that you have signed my name for, I don't want. Give it to my brother. Where am I going with all this? It's not only in polygamous family. It happens in monogamous family. And these things have to also do with the way the parents bring up their children.
Yeah.
Every one of us have siblings. But you will know the sibling that is in trouble now because you have been seeing it from the time that child.
True.
You're growing up with that child.
True. We have a question for you. Can you hang on a bit?
Did you have to buy a land to take your father to the hospital? I mean, you had the money to take him to the hospital. Did you need to buy the land to take him to the hospital? I would like to know why. Is he there?
He's gone.
Because you see what we are talking about, family dynamics.
Yes.
Your father is sick. You have the money to buy a land that belongs to the family, not an outsider. So why didn't you just take him to the hospital with the money?
Are you sure we didn't get? Are you sure we didn't get this?
But Nima was,
That's what he said.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask.
Nima. Go on a break.
Okay.
Yes, you know about a proper estate plan, where I wanted to give the example of Morel's late grandfather that till today his great-grandchildren, they just sit down and they get back
collecting, I'm telling you.
So the estate plan was, you know, according to my bloodline, manage and give the proceeds. So nobody was giving any portion and anything.
Yeah.
They make sure that, you know, whatever had come to maybe one child goes continuously to their inheritors and, you know, their line according to that plan. And the estate is managed, not sold out, not, you know, was managed. Maybe rent is collected and all of that. A proper plan. So that those who have those kind of proper plan, but you can still have an ambitious or greedy sibling who thinks, oh, it's all my own. You know, I have, in my practice, seen too many. I have seen one that is so unempathetic that the father was upset with a brother at the time he died, in the 80s. Till today, in the 20s, she never helped and forgive him. She ensured that that brother is disinherited. Wow. They are both old now in their 80s, and that one cannot process. Why are you holding a grudge on behalf of a late man against your own sibling? You know, so there are several sides to this. As a parent, we pray that our Yiwada is a prayer that they do, that you know, after you have passed, that what you have left behind is still as organized. Yes, you know, it's a very serious prayer. Because this one, their papa, mama, papa, back, no.
This one you're saying education plays a major role in it, because you can't balance the mentality. The people who are fighting over water tank won't be this kind of people. Even if you draw up estate, they want to be, I want the other person's estate. So you were talking to, do we have a call? No. You were talking about your family and the quest for property. I would like to give an instance of one of the houses I stayed in Lagos State. And, you know, the father passed on, then the mother took over the management of the property. The man had different houses, and then the children started eyeing the property. At some point, one of them would come to me, pay the rent to me. The other one would say, give me balance. And it was really confusing. You see the sibling rivalry. If you don't arrange your home very well, it shows. So these people at some point, they started fighting themselves to the point one is saying, Shebi, you want to be like the other one, I will send you to your early grave. Because of, I'm telling you, it gets that tough. It gets that disorganized. And
juju for land, make match up.
For your own brother. Just because of a property. So I actually feel that most of these people, they have to do well in terms of greed plays a major role, because if people are greedy, whether you even have 1,001 houses, you still want that one that your brother has. And then the hatred. Some people, okay, mommy favored you more than me when we were growing up.
Yes, I would
deal with you. So all these things actually.
Okay, so it's just better to just buy homes and just, you know, give each child. See, this is your own house.
Why am I even buying home for you? I understand.
Yes, to avoid trouble. If I'm that rich and I want to settle the problem and all. So I wanted to ask Nima this question. I was like, okay, so now, what if the siblings deny the fact that they did not send the vigilante to go and beat those people?
Evidence is there now. The vigilante go talk who send them now.
So there should be regulation.
So we're wrapping up on this conversation. We've really learned a lot from this, and I like the angles all the ladies came from. We talked about empathy, raising our children with love, you know, finding a balance between culture and civility, you know, finding ways to handle issues by probably going to the elders, you know, looking for those heads that can help us deal with this, managing our anger as well. And the fact that parents also need to be objective. You must not be seen to be showing favoritism to one person. And also be true to yourself. Understand your children. You know your children, but it's just denial that we see sometimes. You know that one that is already stealing from you now.
That one that is always crying. I want her.
You know, give her
now. She's your younger sister.
Let's sort this out so that we don't have issues like this in our hands from time to time. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we move on to yet another topic. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.